What's going on, beautiful people? It's Derrick Furlow Jr. here, and in the midst of this tough time that we're all facing in our country, in the world, I just want to share with you something that has helped me tremendously in a lot of different aspects of my life, dealing with change and you're dealing with a transition. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes to share with you this transition formula that I used during a very critical time in my life, transitioning to my life after sports and then transitioning into a career path. And I found this formula that was able to help me transition, and it's been able to help thousands of other people transition as well. So I want to share with you this formula. You can take it, you can write it down, and hopefully you can go apply it to your life, your business, your family today to help you transition from where you are to where you're going as we make our way through this coronavirus. So here's the formula. T+C+C equals ST. The T is the takeaway. The C is for correlate. The next C is for carryover. And then the equals, ST equals a successful transition. So how this formula helped me. Going into my senior year at the University of Tennessee, where I played football in the SEC, we had a coaching change. And during that time frame, our coach Lane Kiffin came and took over the program. And if you know anything about coaching changes, a lot of times a lot of heads roll and there's a lot of people getting weeded out of the system. And at this point in my life, I had just did everything in my power to get myself in position to win and to play more, along with my full ride scholarship to the University of Tennessee. So when this coaching change happened, I did not want to be on those chopping blocks. So what they was doing, workouts, doing exercise, they was finding ways to get rid of people. So it came down to us having to learn a new playbook. And at that time, my coach Money Kiffin was teaching us this new playbook, and his terminology was incredible. And we were all struggling to learn it. I know I definitely was. So as I'm struggling to learn it, he said something to me that changed my life from an athletic perspective, but changed my life for the rest of my life from everything I did when it came down to handling the transition. And this is what he said to me. He was comparing my old playbook to my new playbook. And he said, hey, Derrick, this play right here is the same as this play right here. What he was saying was, this play was the same as this play. It was just minute differences or small little adjustments that needed to be made with this new playbook. So I already knew the plays. I already had the base foundation. I just had to make the slight changes and adjustments. When he said that, I went on to learn that playbook and was able to help my teammates learn that playbook, and it wasn't even a problem. But that particular phrase, this is the same as that, sparked something in me, because after that, the season ended. I go on, not to go on to the NFL to the next level, and I had to make the ultimate transition into my life after sports. So at this point, I wasn't sure what was next for my life. So I took a step back and I did a self-assessment, and I asked myself, all right, what are my skills? What am I good at? And I realized I had good people skills from earlier in life when I did a lot of moving as a kid, going to 4 different schools within 3 years. And I realized I was good at making friends. As I got older, I knew that I was good at impacting the crowd, moving the people, encouraging the people, because I did it on all the teams I played on. So I said, okay, how can I take these people skills and use them to get paid? So as I did the self-assessment, I said, okay, what industry can I get in? Okay, you can get into sales. Why? Because sales allow you to create some income that you can change your family's life, but it also allows you to use those people skills which you had developed. So I say, okay, I'm getting into the sales game. So I get into the sales game, and for the first 3 months, those people skills did not let me down. And the reason they worked out for me is because people do business with people that know, they like, and they trust. So if I can make them like me, they get to know me, they'll trust me, they'll buy from me. So the first 3 months was incredible. Well, sure enough, the first 3 months slowly started to pass by, and those people skills wasn't all the skills that I needed. And in that first 3 months, I made life-changing income, at least coming from where I came from, being raised by a single mom with 3 kids. I had made $22,000 in my first 3 months. I didn't know what to do with myself. I thought that money was gonna keep coming like that. But what they didn't tell me is, in the sales industry, and particularly the space I was in, it's a slow season that happens. And I had crept right up to that slow season, that 3rd month. So now the money starts to wind down. I have no other skills but people skills, and there's less people for me to see, so I can't go through the numbers. So start to struggle. I had already been working on trying to help my mom out because we had some family things that was going on. And now I'm sitting in a situation where the money I had wasn't enough. I didn't have any other skills besides these people skills. And that's when I had to ask myself, what made me a leader in sports? And that's when that transition formula came into play. I sat back and thought about what made me a leader in sports. And when I started to think about what some of those things were, my ability to prepare, the ability to learn, the ability to execute, I said, okay, how can I take some of those things away from sports, figure out how they correlate right here to sales, carry them over into sales, and then have me a successful transition into sales. So this is exactly what I started to do. I thought about how we learn the playbook from football. How do we learn the game, the knowledge of the game, the plays, how we did our scouting reports. I thought about how do we learn it. So this is what normally happens. You get the scouting report against the opponent. After you get the scouting report, you're gonna watch film on that opponent. After you watch film, you're gonna go do a walkthrough to make sure you understand the assignments, the game plan, the strategies for the week. Once you do the walkthrough, you can go implement everything you just learned in practice. While you're practicing it, it's gonna be being recorded. So the reason it's gonna be recorded, so we can go back and watch the film on what you recorded, you can make sure you know the alignment, the assignments, the scheme, the techniques, the personnel. You can make sure that you understand what was going on during the game. To the fact that you can't get it wrong. And you do that over and over and over again until game day. So I took that same philosophy. I said, okay, I'm in sales. I got to learn the steps of the sale, the company credibility, and what else they had? Steps of the sale, company credibility, and they also had the sales process for the company. So how can I learn all those three? I said, okay, those three right there, I will role play with the individuals I work with. When I'm role playing, I'm gonna make sure I understand the strategies, the technique, the mindset, the philosophy behind it. Once I role play it, we're gonna practice it. As I practice it, I'm gonna make sure I practice my closes, handling objections, practice my body demeanor, my body language, the people that's in front of me, their body language, and then I'm gonna record me practicing it so I can go back and review it. So as I review it, I can make those adjustments, make those corrections on did I say what I'm supposed to say, how's my timing, how's my body language, how's my inflection, did I say the right close, did they respond accordingly to the point that I could not get it wrong. So I practiced and practiced and practiced on my sales team members to the fact that when I finally got to a prospect, to a client, I couldn't miss the sale because I had been practicing just like I did in sports, just like I did in football. So I was able to take that transition formula, what I learned from the game, the things that was good to me, the things that I felt can add value, I figured out how could it correlate to where I was right now in sales or where you're going. And then I figured out how could I carry it over? And that's how I could carry it over, by implementing the same learning process, the same strategy that we've used to watch film. And at that point, I had a successful transition into sales, so I didn't have to depend on just those people skills. And from that point moving forward, I went on to excel to be one of the top guys in the region, in the state, in my area, and then I was able to help my team be one of the top performing teams inside our company, and they didn't even play sports. We was able to duplicate that same transition formula. So I wanted to share that formula with you, because during this transition, you're gonna need something that's gonna allow you to go from where you are to where you're looking to go with that same confidence, with that same enthusiasm, with that same energy. Because this is what I believe. Everything that you're growing through is preparing you for where you're going to. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. What I don't want you to do is leave those things behind, because they're valuable. They're transferable skills. Those things are intangibles that you can never get again. So take those things, use them as building blocks to the next phase of your life. So as we come out of this thing, you can catapult yourself to the next phase of wherever you want to be. So I thank you for your time. I just encourage you to use this transition formula, T+C+C =ST, so you can transition like a champion.